on.
Hello, everyone. Oh, wait, Debbie, can you turn my lights off and turn that one off? All right. Hopefully we'll get things here. Let me get this. Wait. All right. Let's see if I can. All right. Shalom, everyone. Uh, Tonight we've got I've got a number of announcements to make, more prayer requests than anything. Um, but let me start with the prayer request first off. We have Donna Singer is going to have an exploratory abdominal surgery on February 13th. Okay. And she's been sick for quite a while. And they're hoping to be able to go in and find a problem. But she's in her upper 70s, and so please be praying for her. Also, Brad and Cindy Gaskill. Okay. Cindy's been sick, but she's better. But Brad, as I mentioned, he's having double vision. He has this horrible problem of an infected nerve behind his eye. And it's causing these tremendous headaches. So far, they've been getting a royal runaround from the doctors. Now, they got into a doctor yesterday, and hopefully, with this, they'll have things change. But so far, they have not found what the problem is, and they're really not looking for it. They're really trying to stop the pain. And he needs for them to find the problem and then address the problem and all of that. But this has gone on for over a month of them going to see the doctors and, everything happening there. And let's see, okay. All right. Also, please be praying that number one, that they get a doctor that hopefully this doctor they're going to see, that he's going to stick with it and be with it. Another problem they've had is their insurance doesn't want to cover, if I understand, all of these tests and everything. So the hospitals and the doctors just basically drop it. And so we've got to have some success here. And but please be praying. It's been a very, he's unable to work in the situation he's in, and they're having to, stay out of town for a long period of time, and nothing is seeming to work. Okay. Also, be praying for Grayson Jeffords. Okay. Grayson was here a few weeks ago. They have given him the radiation treatment and a smaller dose of chemotherapy this time, but we need for that cancer to be on the downside and under control, and them to be able to operate and take the rest of that cancer out. And so please be praying for him. Now, we've got, I want to mention about our newsletters. We have newsletters that we're sending out now. And if you would like to be on that newsletter, it does not come by email. It's we print it out, put it in an envelope, but we've got to have your mailing address. So you can email me at joegood61@gmail.com. And I'll get your name put on the list, and we'll see about getting. Newsletter is not for the purpose of raising money. I won't say that it won't be in the future if we have some big needs come up in Israel or something. We'll raise money for them. Okay. And right now we're still raising money with the situation they're expecting. Much more fighting to come forward in Judea, Samaria, and once again with Hezbollah in Lebanon. And so you can contribute by going to the David Fund. Go to Jerusalem Temple Study. And when you go to the Jerusalem Temple Study, whether you're a member or not a member, it'll take you to the David Fund page or the donate page, and you can donate to the ministry or you can donate to the David Fund. If you donate to the David Fund, it will go directly into a fund that's set apart for the Israeli army. I sent $2,000 yesterday for I sent $2,000 for the first responders. They had a need. The first responders, right there is a settlement right on the border with Gaza. Okay, right on the fence. And the first responders, the Army does not provide equipment for them, and so we're trying to buy helmets for these soldiers. Also, we've been raising money for a synagogue in memory of the soldiers that fell at the Urim base. And I was told yesterday that that synagogue is now it's now built. They've got the money, and I understand it's already built. They've got the building already done. So thank you everyone for that. And I'm going to be sending in another couple $1,000 on Thursday, which will go for some equipment for the 188th Brigade. Okay, for the reserve soldiers that don't have up-to-date bulletproof vests, helmets, and so forth. And we're trying to get $30,000 towards that. We've gotten a substantial amount of it and got it over there. But every penny that you donate, it helps. Okay. Now, I want to show, before we get into our teaching tonight, I'll do it different. Last week I used the little projector, but tonight I'm going to hold it and try to do these new models that we have. Hopefully I can find my little pointer. And I have around a dozen projects that I'm working on, and it all gets stacked up around me. Okay. All right. All right. When all else fails, look on the floor. Okay. So these are the models. You can see their size, and these show the color. Now, let me show you this. Haven't figured out how to use it yet, but this is a stand that will hold it up. Okay. And so I just haven't had time to get with Victor to find out how this works. But I want to show you the features on it. Number one, you can see stairs are done in white. So here are the stairs in front of the Nicanor gate. Here are the stairs. Actually, this is a ramp. Now, we don't have a text that tells us that there was a ramp coming up here. This is the Shor Korban right here. This is the Shor Nashim, or Women's Gate. This is the offering gate and the Women's Gate. This is a slaughter area, okay? And you can go to the book of Ezekiel. I think it's in chapter 40, and it describes this area. Let me see. One way to get all the little lids off. Okay. Okay. So this is the area here that we're talking about. This is a slaughter area for the most holy offerings. While over here, the offering is for the holy offerings. Okay. Now, If you're just looking at it, then that probably doesn't mean that much. But if you're teaching it, it means everything. And so what Victor did was he kind of coordinated with me. And you see, we've got where it's highlighted in a different color so that you can see it, you can understand it. Now, we have a text that tells us that there was a dome or a kippah on the Beit HaMoked. That's what this building is. And each of these buildings are divided, okay, into an area that's sanctified, okay. So let me show you how you tell this. Okay, so you see this side of the building is closest to the inner courtyard here. Okay, so this area has the rules of the inner courtyard because it opens onto it. But this side opens onto out here, this platform that goes around, that's called the kel. Okay, this is where they can sleep, they can sit down, they can eat, and so forth. All right. Now this one over here, this one in the back is the where the Sanhedrin sits, and that's what you see there. That's that little semicircle thing. Now you think, oh, it's neat to have that, but it's more, okay? Because here, what you want to teach when you're doing this is you want to teach that you can't sit in this area up here. Why? All right, let me get it here. Here. Because it empties into the Azarah. So nobody can sit because you can't sit in the Azarah. So it was required that the court sit back here. Now, why does the court have to sit back there? Because they have to be before the what's called the Ohel Moed, okay? The Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, is going to be all this area around here, okay? So everything legally that is happening, that is laid out in the scripture for us, we're able to see, okay? And so each of these buildings, let me put this on. Okay, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, he has to immerse. Okay, so here is a mikvah. Okay, but it says one time in the unsanctified, 4 times in the sanctified. Okay, so you notice that the mikvah up here on the roof, it's on the roof of the buildings, is over the unsanctified area of the building because it opens onto the kel. All right. Kel comes from the word kol, which means common. It's the common area of the holy place. Okay. But on the other side, this is Beta Optinus. This is the Beta Nitzot. Let me set it down to put this on. Okay. Now you'll notice that there's a mikvah on top of this building. Okay. So let me get it where you can see it. And here is the mikvah here, right here. But it's in the it's over the sanctified end of the building. Okay. And that's what we're told in the Tractate Yoma of the Mishnah. Okay. Now I'm going to show you my favorite thing. Okay. My favorite thing is that the priest, to get up to the roof, okay, up here. And so a Kohen has to go up there early in the morning, and he has to look out from here, from this point, he'll be at this end. He has to look out, and he has to be able to see all the way to Hebron that the daylight has appeared all the way there. Okay, this is the only building that's high enough. Now, let me show you right here. There's a little stairway that comes in from inside this building, and it comes up. It's going over what's called the Ta'in. Okay, and so the Kohen will walk all the way around to this side of the building. Okay, he's going to come around, and you see there's a stairway, and the stairway is going to take him all the way up. There's a little door right here that's called the aliyah. Okay. Okay. The whole upper floor. This is the aliyah, the upper floor. And then he goes in. And so we couldn't figure out, it said that there was a cedar ladder. Okay. But this is from this point here up is equal to 10-story building. You can't have a ladder, a wooden ladder that goes up 10 stories. So we found a text in Josephus that said that there was a doorway 11 cubits up inside the aliyah. And that doorway, it said, led to a ladder. And if you look real closely here, can you see the white? That ladder, that's a stairway that's going up. Now, let me turn it around. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but you definitely can. If there are windows right here, and the ladder's going through them. And then there's one right here, and then it comes out on top. Okay. All right. Now, the court of the women. Okay. So the court of the women. Um, oh, one of the neat things is the fireplaces. Okay. So let me hold it close. Okay, this is the big fireplace. That's where they burnt the animal parts. This is one for coals. Okay, because that's going they can't take the fire into the inner altar, the golden altar. They take coals. Okay, now this is a fire that's kept burning in case either of these two fires go out. On Yom Kippur, they'll have four fires because it's going to have extra coals to make up. All right, so here we have in the court of the women, we have the four lamps on top of these posts. These posts must be 50 cubits high. That's way up there. You're able to see all the various rooms that are on the side. This is for the lepers. This is to inspect wood. This is for the Nazarites. This is where the oil and the wine is stored, oil and flour, excuse me. This is where the ashes of the red heifer are, and it's got a little brown top here to highlight it. And this is where the lower Sanhedrin, the Sanhedrin Ketanah, the smaller Sanhedrin. Okay. The advantage of these type of models is that the uh, the colors set it off to where that first off you can see and understand better personally, but when you're teaching, you can show it to where people understand and can follow you better. All right, so let me put this to the side. What we're going to talk about tonight is the Moedim. Okay, now we've been talking about the Mishnah, and we were going through Seder, and we looked at a couple of tractates. So there's about 13 tractates. Each tractate has a different topic, but the Moedim, it means the appointed time, Seder Moed. And Seder Moed is one of the absolute essentials that you need to master because appointed times have to deal with basically not only how Israel kept the Torah, but how we're supposed to keep the Torah. And so when we have, I want to open up to a passage. I want to open up to a passage, and I've heard it called before, and I call it this. This is the heart of the Torah. Everything is basically built around this passage. It's found in the book of Bamidbar. Okay. And so, I'll tell you what, I'm going to use an art scroll because it's a little bit bigger. And I think there's notes in the margin. All right. So let me share my screen here. Okay. So here we have Bamidbar 28. So Bamidbar numbers 28. And I want to read this first paragraph and we want to talk about it. It says, Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel and say to them, My offering, my food for my fires, my satisfying aroma, shall you be scrupulous. Now, pay attention to that. Shall you be scrupulous? Let's see how it's worded in the Koran. I love when they use words like scrupulous. It tells you when you have to be careful on this. All right. All right. All right. Command the children of Israel in my offering, the provision of my offerings made by fire for a sweet savor to me shall you observe to offer to me in their due season. Okay. So this is scrupulous to offer to me in its appointed time. Okay. So the Hebrew that you have here in its appointed time. Where's 28 start? Okay. All right. Um, okay. Bam Mordeo. Okay. Mordeo. Okay. And it's appointed time. And uh you shall say to them, This is the fire offering that you are to offer to Hashem, male lambs in the first year, unblemished, to a day, as a continual burnt offering. Okay, as a continual burnt offering, and it had the word tamid. And you'll see tamid over in the margin. The one lamb shall you make in the morning, and the second lamb shall you make in the afternoon, with a tenth ephah of a. Now, where it says in the afternoon in Hebrew, it's a little bit more specific. Here's in the afternoon, but what it says in Hebrew is bein ha'ervin, between the evenings, with a tenth ephah of fine flour as a meal offering mixed with a quarter hin of crushed oil. It is continual burnt offering. Here's the word tamid. That was done at Mount Sinai for a satisfying aroma fire offering to Hashem. And its libation is a quarter hin for the one lamb to be poured out to the holy altar, and intoxicating libation for Hashem. The second lamb you shall make in the afternoon. And again, it's Bain Ha'erevim, like the meal offering of the morning, Haboker here, for a satisfying aroma to Hashem. Okay, let's stop sharing for a moment. And we want to see the progression of this as we go. But that is an automatic thing. No one has to set that, that you have to do this. You don't have to have a court decision about it. You have a straight scripture that every day, no matter whether it's rain, snow, hurricane, earthquake, wildfire, whatever, every day an offering is to be made, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And he gives you what is to be offered with that offering in the sense of the incense and the wine and so forth, the meal offering. Okay. And so, that's prescribed. Okay. So then we go to the Shabbat. Now, so in the Shabbat, let's read that real quick. Okay. So in the Shabbat, it says the burnt offering of each Shabbat on its own Sabbath, in addition to the continual burnt offering or the Tamid offering and its libation. Okay, so all right, so Okay, I skipped the verse. And on the Sabbath day, two male lambs in the first year, unblemished, 2/10 ephah of fine flour for a meal offering mixed with oil and its libation. Okay, so this is the important thing. First off, is that the whole thing? Okay. I mean, in the morning when they go, there's going to be a crew that's going to slaughter the lamb. There's going to take a priest who's going to go inside the temple building and he's going to burn incense. So does it go like this? The priest takes a knife, he catches the blood, the animal drops, and they start skinning the animal. And a priest will take the blood over and apply it to the altar. Okay. And after they get the lamb cut up, because it's a burnt offering, they have to do the whole lamb. The priests are going to carry it up and they're going to throw it onto the big fire. Okay. Is anything else going on? Well, we have the priest that goes inside to burn the incense. And does he just go in and take a handful of incense and put it on the fire and stand there and watch it go up in smoke? And then it doesn't turn around, he backs out of the building. Is that everything that happens? No. No, because we're going to have songs that are being sung by the choir. We're going to have prayers that are being said, declarations that are being made. Certain things are happening that are going on that are not in this text. This text expects that you understand that. Okay. So we have the Shabbat. Okay. So Shabbat, is that something that the court has to come together and say, today is the Shabbat? Okay. Or is it an automatic thing? It's automatic. It's just like the Tamid. So you have to do the Tamid plus you're going to have another service for the Shabbat. And that will be after you do the Tamid. Tamid comes first, and then plus the Shabbat. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so you'll see that next, verse 11, we have on Rosh Chodesh. Okay, the new moon. On your new moons shall you bring a burnt offering to Hashem, two young bulls, one ram, 7 male lambs in the first year, unblemished, and 3/10 ephah fine flour for a meal offering mixed with oil for each bull. Wow, that's a lot of meal offerings. And 2/10 ephah fine flour for a meal offering mixed with oil for one ram, and 1/10 ephah fine flour for a meal offering mixed with oil for each lamb. A burnt offering, a satisfying aroma, a fire offering to Hashem, and their libations, a half hin for each bull, a third for the ram, a quarter hin for each lamb of wine. This is the burnt offering of each month in its own month for the months of the year. And 1 male of the goats for a sin offering to Hashem, in addition to the continual burnt offering, shall be made, and its libation. So, if we have Rosh Chodesh fall on the Shabbat, then you would do the daily morning Tamid, okay? And then you would do the Musaf for Shabbat, and then you would do the Musaf, the additional offering for the new moon, okay? And so this can get, really, really extensive as we go through, because we're going to have one coming up that's always a new moon. That's going to be Rosh Hashanah, okay? And so we have it takes 13 priests to do the morning Tamid. But when you start adding all these things, you have more and more. It takes 24 priests to do one bull. 24 priests to do one bull. I believe that's the number. And here we have two young bulls, okay? One ram, okay, that's going to take about 8 or 9 guys. 7 male lambs, that's another 8 or 9 per lamb. in their first year unblemished. And then we've got each of the meal offerings is going to take a coin, and the wine offering is going to take a coin. And so we're talking about a lot of individuals. Plus, we're going to have the choir singing a selection of songs. You have songs that are especially for the Shabbat. You have songs that are especially for the new moon. And then it goes on and on. Now, the new moon, that's not automatic. The new moon has to be sanctified. It has to be declared. Okay? All right. So in the Torah, it's going to tell us all of these things, but unless you're an absolute genius and you are able to remember everything, you will not be able to catch most of it because it's hidden. And a lot of times when you go from the Hebrew into another language, it totally disappears. So it is only in the Mishnah that we're able to reconstruct how they did. Okay? And so it is in Seder Moed. We have, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. In Seder Moed, we have the biggest tractate is Shabbat. Okay? And let me grab Shabbat real quick. This is the Kahati Shabbat. Okay? And it has a total of 24 chapters. Okay? And that's just on Shabbat. But wait a minute. There are actually, your next tractate is called Orvim, which deals with the boundaries of where you can go and what you can carry and what you can't carry on Shabbat. Okay? So that is an additional 10 chapters. I think 10. Yeah, 10 chapters. Okay. So that's 34 chapters. Then after that, you have Pesukim, and you have Shkalim, the finances. You have Yoma. And then this one book has this one book here. Okay. And it has Sukkah. It has Beitzah. Now we're going to look at some of Beitzah tonight. It has Rosh Hashanah. It has Tanit. We're going to look at some of Tanit tonight. It has Megillah, okay, which deals with Purim primarily, but it has other things that it deals with too. Moed Katan, small appointed times. Alayats, that almost every single entry in Moed Katan, probably no more than 3 or 4 of you would be able to list a few of them, okay? But they're going to all stem from the Torah. You can't have anything in here that doesn't stem from the Torah, okay? And then your last one is Haggadah. Okay, we're going to look at some of Haggadah tonight. Now, you see, I've marked, you see how many different Mishnah for us to look at, okay? I chose Tanit and what were the 3 I chose? Beitzah, which means an egg, okay? And isn't that interesting? An appointed time that is called Beitzah, egg. How could that be? What would egg? Okay, now I know some of you think, oh, the roasted egg at Passover. That's actually not what it's talking about here. Okay, it turns out that egg is the first word of the tractate. But the tractate had another name back centuries and centuries ago. It was called the Yamim Tovim, the holy days. And so Tanit deals with fasting. So you think, oh, Yom Kippur, the fast of the 10th of Tevet, the fast of the 17th of Tammuz, the 9th of Av, and the 3rd of Tishrei. Doesn't deal with those. It deals with fasting for rain, okay? But it tells you what they did in the temple when they fasted for rain. You think, oh, everybody just stopped eating. There's going to be prayers. There's going to be shofar blowing. There's going to be songs that are sung, okay? And so what I chose areas that most people would not be familiar with. And number one, I want to show you the value of the Mishnah. I want to show you that, wow, this can be like going in and it's like a treasure hunt, okay? And you find something here and you find something there and you find something. And here's what happens is that if you go through it and you go, wow, all of a sudden you start seeing all kinds of things different. I guarantee you, whenever I read Numbers 28, 29, I will see a lot more than most of you would see because I see the prayers they're praying. I have, having gone and seen, oh, they pray this, they pray that, they pray this, and I've got this going through my head. I'm thinking of the Psalms that they're singing. Okay, I'm thinking of where different individuals are and why they are where they are. Okay, let me give you an example. We're told in the Mishnah that the priest that goes in to burn the incense, okay, he only gets to do that once in his life. Most of you have heard me say that 1.5 million times, okay? But one thing that it says is that everybody else has to leave the room. He is in there by himself with Hashem. So when you read in the book of Luke that all of a sudden there was an angel standing at the right hand of the altar of incense, you go, whoa, all of a sudden, you understand. Even if the angel had the appearance of a man, it would have scared any Cohen right out of his toenails, okay? And so we're going to go in and we're going to look at these. And what I did was I took our Mishnah book that Debbie and I wrote, and I took the introduction to Seder Moed, I believe, or to the introduction to Beitzah, okay? And it says Beitzah is the seventh tractate of the Mishnah with the seventh tractate of the Mishnah in Seder Moed. It's not the seventh tractate of the Mishnah, but the seventh tractate of the Mishnah in Seder Moed, with tractates also in the Tosafta, the Talmud Yerushalmi, and the Talmud Bavli. The word Beitzah literally means egg. The tractate received this name since Beitzah is the first word of chapter 1. Okay, so let me open up to Beitzah, and I want to show you that. All right. There's no substitute for seeing it yourself. You remember it better. Okay, so all right. So here you have the word Beitzah. Okay, Beitzah. Let me see it. It's too small for me to see. Let me enlarge it a little bit. Shenodah, B'Yom Tov. Okay, you see, B'Yom Tov. Okay, the Yom Tov. An egg which was laid on Yom Tov. And so the whole thing, Beit Shammai say it may be eaten, but Beit Hillel say it may not be eaten. Beit Shammai say leavening as an olive's bulk and hametz, or leaven, as a drying date. But Beit Hillel say this and that is an olive bulk. By the way, if you want to see a lot of the arguing between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel, it's going to be in this tractate. is absolutely fascinating. All right. So going back to the slides, the tractate received another name in the earlier times for the tractate was Yom Tov, or good day. And I got to wait for the little thing to disappear for me to see what it says below it. Well, I don't think it's going to. Okay. The most common way to go into the next slide. All right. The Torah also designates these days as Mikra Kodesh, holy convocations. There are several days set aside as the Shabbaton. These are the first and last days of Hakamatza. So here's your list of your holy days. The day of Shavuot, the first day of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, the first day of Sukkot, and Shemini Atzeret. Yom Tov is the name of the tractate in the Tosafta. Other tractates of Seder Moed relate to specific festivals. However, Tractate Beitzah deals with rules that are common to all the festivals. Okay, that's important. By the way, let's stop here. I want to show you a trick. Okay, so this is Seder Moed. Okay, I don't know if you can see Seder Moed, volume 2. And I want to go to the tractate Yoma. I'm going to go tractate Yoma, chapter 3, and I believe it'll be Mishnah 2. It is. Okay. So let me put this here and you can read it. All right. The previous Mishnah had said that the officer said to them, go and see if the time of the slaughtering has arrived. I talked about this earlier. Okay, let me move it over. If it arrived, the person said, Barkai. Machi ben Shmuel says the entire east is lit up until Hebron. And he said, yes. Now, that's what I was telling you about. How did they get to the roof by going through the walls of the temple? And that's for this Cohen to look out and see if the sun has lit up the entire east all the way to Hebron. And he said, yes. Now it says, why do they need this? For on one occasion, the light of the moon arose, and they thought that the east was lit up. And they slaughtered the tamid and took it out to the place of burning. They led the high priest down to the place of immersion. This was the general rule in the temple. Whoa! Anytime I see where it says this is the general rule, and sometimes they'll say in the temple, this is the general rule in a city. This is the general rule. Anytime you say it's a general rule, that means it applies all over the place. Whoever covered his feet in the temple requires immersion. Covers his feet is a reference to having a bowel movement. Yeah, you say, well, what does that benefit me? Well, and let me read the rest of this, and then I'm going to stop sharing. Whoever passed water had to sanctify his hands and feet. Whoever urinated had to wash his hands and feet before he could go back in. Okay? It's a general rule. So it's not doesn't just apply to priests. It applies to every single individual. It applies to us to this day. Okay? And so you think, well, so what? What does that mean? Well, you might be interested in King David. David hid in a cave at Entebbe. And King Saul came and he went into the cave, and it says he covered his feet. It was having a bowel movement. And David cut the tzitzit off his garment. Wow, David was awful close enough to be able to cut the tzitzit off. And so all of a sudden, that story, you start to understand more and more of what's happening. How valuable is understanding? I'd say that's the key. That's what you want. All right, let's go back to our slides. I don't have that many slides today, but I've got enough that we're going to be pushing to make them. All right. Uh, all right. Tractate Beta deals with rules that are common to all the festivals. That's the key. Okay. There's another reason why the tractate was originally called Yom Tov. The first two chapters date from the time of the temple. Whoa, that means it is extra valuable. While the later chapters are the work of the students of Rabbi Akiva, about 100 years later, maybe not quite 100, about 60 years later. While there are several laws from the Torah that are explained in the Mishnah, the main two are those below. On the first day, there should be a holy convocation. And the seventh day, there should be a holy convocation to you. No kind of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. Only that may be done by you. That's Exodus 12, verse 16. Of course, it's talking about Hakamatza. And also in Exodus 16, and it shall come to pass that on the sixth day you shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. That's talking about Shabbat. There are 5 chapters to this tractate, and we have 42 Mishnot. Okay, so I want to talk about the word Mishnah. Mishnah means suburb. Okay, so picture the Torah is downtown, and the Mishnah is the explanation of what you have downtown. It's how that you apply everything. So each one of these, each paragraph is called a Mishnah. And so, like if I'm reading in my Bible, Exodus 16:15, okay? Exodus chapter 16, verse 15. In Hebrew, chapter would be Perek, okay? And verse would be Pasuk, okay? But when we're doing Mishnah, we say Mishnah Perek 5, Mishnah 2, okay? And so if you're doing the Tosafta, it would be Beitza Perek 3, Tosafta 2, okay? So basically, just learning how to navigate. All right, go back to the slides. All right, so I have, again, this is from our book, The Concise Guide to the Mishnah and the Tosafta. And the Concise Guide takes you through each tractate and gives you a rundown of what's in each chapter. It doesn't have commentary on it, just tells you what's in this chapter. So chapter 1, the primary theme of this chapter is the law of Mukseh. And we'll talk about that as we get to it. This law states that anything that was not designated for Yom Tov may not be eaten or even moved. These items and food are known as Mukseh. So it's what you can eat and what you can't eat. It's what you cannot eat and you cannot move around. The opposite of Mukseh is Mulkam, which is something kept ready for use. Another translation of Exodus 16:5 reads, and they shall keep ready what they bring in. So that would be a mukan. This is in reference to the manna, which had to be kept ready for the Shabbat from the 6th day. This is the general interpretation of the commandment. Notice the legal language. All right. We'll do this one and then we'll go to a break. An object which before the commencement of the Shabbat or Yom Tov was not intended for use on these days is mukseh and may not be handled or used. There are various degrees of mukseh, such as mukseh mekamat isur, where something is considered mukseh, okay, in other words, you can't move it, you can't eat it, on account of some forbidden act which its use would necessitate. Okay, so in other words, the thing itself is not forbidden, but in order to use it, it is forbidden. Like, for instance, on Shabbat, you can't grind. And if this particular item has to be ground, you can't use it. All right. Another degree of mukseh is nolad or born. This is referring to that which has not existed on the eve of the Shabbat or the Yom Tov, and is therefore mukseh. The first chapter debates these points back and forth between Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai. And again, that in itself is absolutely fascinating. All right, we are going to go to a break. Let me move some of this, and we will be back in just a moment. All right. I do have a couple announcements to make. Number one, if you're interested in the models, you can go to JerusalemTempleStudy.com, and then when you go there, it's going to come up on the page. The models we have in the colored models, we have two kinds. We have one, but we only have two copies of this right now. The with the wood piles on the altar. Okay. Uh, and then we have I think 7 copies that without the wood piles. And so the models with the wood piles are 400. The models with the without the wood piles are 300. Now, if you've already got a model, we give a discount and everything. Just go to the website and it should have that information. So Jerusalem Study, TempleStudy.com. Second thing is that if you're watching tonight and you're going to be there on YouTube, please subscribe. If you subscribe and you like, then that moves us up in the ratings. It helps us a lot. And so it views more, and we're trying to build this up and get it going. And so we've got some plans that we want to initiate, but we're waiting till we get a solid base before we do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get back into our slides, and we still have 2 tractates to go through after this, and we have here, we're going to go chapter 2. Okay, so this is Beit Zah again, which is on the Yamim Tovim, the holy days. The chapter begins with the permission to prepare food on a Yom Tov if needed for those days. But if Yom Tov is closely followed by Shabbat, the food for Shabbat may be prepared on that Yom Tov, provided such preparation is commenced on the eve of the festival. Now, this is very relevant because we've had this happen a number of times where we have a festival, which is a Yom Tov, is going to coincide with Shabbat, and it gets complicated on when can you prepare food and so forth and so forth. And the Mishnah answers those questions for you. Okay, so next, the chapter goes into discussion of Eruv Tav Shalin. This is the first installment of the preparation for the Shabbat on the eve of a Yom Tov. Okay, all right. So I've got a few of these here. Let me see if I have any out of chapter 1, because we've already looked at it. Yeah, let's go. Let's stop sharing this. And I want to go and it's one thing to read a commentary about a tractate. It's totally different to read the actual. All right. So here we go. This is from chapter 1. And this is what I was talking about the argument between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel. Beit Shammai say one does not remove the shutters on Yom Tov, but Beit Hillel permit even to return. Beit Shammai say one may not take the pestle to cut meat on it, but Beit Hillel permit. Beit Shammai say one does not place the hide before the treading place and may not pick it up unless it has on it an olive's bulk of meat, but Beit Hillel permit. Beit Shammai say one does not take the infant or the lulav or the Torah scroll into the public thoroughfare. That's the public domain. In other words, you can't carry your baby out in the public domain. Beit Hillel, however, permits. Now you're going to have questions. You like, for instance, each of these lines is here. It's going to discuss this line. Beit Shammai say one does not remove the shutters on Yom Tov. The shutters referred to here are doors used to shut boxes or closets. According to Beit Shammai, one is forbidden to remove the shutters from these boxes or or closets on Yom Tov because it resembles demolishing, which is forbidden on Shabbat. Or, um, but Beit Hillel permit even to return. It is not only permitted to remove the shutters so as to gain access to food supplies on Yom Tov, but it is even permitted to return the shutters, for if it were forbidden to return them because it resembles constructing, people will not want to remove them and refrain from joy on the festivals. And it goes on into explanation. Now, by the way, if you have this is the Kahati Mishnah. This is the one that I love. Um, Let me go here. There is a glossary for Tractate Beit Zah. Now, by the way, if you have our Mishnah book, it's called the Concise Guide to the Mishnah in the Tosafta. It has a glossary in the back for all the tractates. Okay, so you don't have a word that you recognize, you can go back there and get a definition of the word. In most cases, it'll give you that definition. Now, if you the book, you can't buy it on Amazon, you can't buy it from us, we don't print them anymore. However, the digital copy is available on JerusalemTempleStudy.com. If you're a gold member, you can download it. Okay, and it's about 300 pages, and it goes through each tractate with an introduction, and then it goes chapter by chapter. Here's what's in it. Okay, and there's a chart that, well, if you're studying a parsha, it'll tell you these tractates are going to cover the material in this parsha and so forth. Okay, all right. Let's go back to the slides. Wait. Let's see if I have some more here from chapter 1 and chapter 2. Okay. All right. Here's chapter 2, Mishnah 1. All right. If Yom Tov falls on Friday, a person is not to cook from the outset of Yom Tov for the Shabbat, but he may cook for the Yom Tov. And if any is left over, it is left over for the Shabbat, and he prepares a dish before Yom Tov and relies on it for the Shabbat. In other words, you cook for Shabbat before the Yom Tov. Beit Shammai says 2 dishes, but Beit Hillel say 1 dish. And they agreed that a fish with an egg on it counts as 2 dishes. If he ate it or it was lost, he may not cook another in its stead. But if any of it remain, he relies on it for the Shabbat. And again, your commentary is great in helping you with understanding all this. And here is 2:4. Beit Shammai say 1 brings peace offerings, but does not lay the hands on them. Okay, so it's talking temple, but not burnt offerings. Okay, so the laying on of hands. But Beit Hillel say 1 brings peace offerings and burnt offerings and lays the hands on them. By the way, this was a huge argument between Shammai and Hillel. Okay, and so if you want to understand that big story there. Okay, so let me see. That's going to be all that we have from Beit Zah. Okay, let's go back to the slides. We're going to have a little bit more in the commentary here on Beit Zah before we get into the next. This is still from chapter 2. And Eruv Tavshalin is the link that unites the cooking for the Shabbat on the eve of the Yom Tov with what that done on the Yom Tov. This allows the latter to be permitted. The last point discussed in the chapter regards the question of whether situations other than preparing food work required for the celebration of the Yom Tov or for the good of man, such as slaying certain korbanot or warming water for a foot bath, may be done on a Yom Tov. Okay, so chapter 3. This chapter deals with the definition of meleket avodah. or servile work, which is forbidden on the Yom Tov. Okay, so work that is not going to have to do with the festival. Forbidden on this day are the actions of hunting, fishing, or the purchase of implements required for the preparation of food. Other prohibited actions include whetting the slaughtering knife or burning the charcoal. Okay, so chapter 4, the next chapter continues with the discussion of Meleket Avodah, that which is forbidden in food preparation for the Yom Tov. And the final chapter, last chapter, concerns certain acts that are prohibited, not as Meleket Avodah, but as a gezerah, a preventive against breaking laws concerning the Yom Tov. These prohibitions are termed Shavuot, a reference for abstention from certain types of work. All right, now we're going to go to the next tractate. Okay, actually, there's a tractate in between, but Ta'anit deals with fasting. It's the ninth tractate of Seder Moed in the Mishnah, with tractates also in the Tosafta, Talmud Yerushalmi, and Talmud Bavli. That's great. If you have those documents, of course, you can go to Sephora to get additional information. The word Ta'anit literally means fast. In the tractates of the Tosafta and both editions of the Talmud, the title is changed to the plural form of Taniot. As the title would indicate, the tractate is devoted to the fast days, the practices that are peculiar to them, and the prayers that are said during the fast. Whoa, caught my attention right there. The prayers that are said during the fast. These fasts were for the express purpose of repentance, so that the rains would come in their proper season, and so in the event of drought, God would observe their sincerity in fasting and bring ample rain. The tractate is built around the following passage from the Torah and another from the book of 1 Kings. Now, I want you to look at this. This is pretty neat. So this is out of Bamidbar 10:9, Numbers 10:9. If you go to war in your land against an enemy who oppresses you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, okay? And you shall be remembered before the Lord your God, and you shall be saved from your enemies. Numbers 10:9. Now, this is the one from 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 35 and 36. So these two, we're going to do remez. They allude to one another. They're going to be glued together. When heaven is closed, there is no rain because they have sinned against you. If they pray toward this place, whoa, what are we talking about? Holy temple, and acknowledge your name and turn from their sin when you afflict them. So you're addressing your prayer to Hashem. When you afflict them, then hear you in heaven and forgive the sin of your servants and of your people Israel, and teach them the good way where they should walk, and give rain upon your land, which you have given to your people for an inheritance. And again, that's 1 Kings chapter 8, verses 35 to 36. There are 4 chapters to Ta'anit with a total of 34 Mishnah. Let me read this again. There are 4 chapters to Ta'anit with a total of 34 legal rulings. Okay? Okay, so, all right, now, chapter 1. Let's turn to Ta'anit in the book, and we're going to go through. We have Rosh Hashanah right after Beit Sah. And then we have Ta'anit following that. Okay. All right. Chapter 1, the chapter begins with the first 3 Mishnah, defining the time after which one must mention rain in the second benediction of the Shemoni Esrei or Amidah. Again, I love this because when I take my Seder, and let me grab my Seder, and I'm going to go to the All right. So all right, right here. It says, "You are eternally mighty, Lord. You give life to the dead and have great power to save." And in winter, you say, He makes the wind blow and the rain fall. In spring and summer, He causes the dew to fall. And then He sustains the living with loving kindness and with great compassion revives the dead. He supports the fallen, heals the sick, set captives free, and keeps His faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, Master of might? And to whom can you be compared, O King, who brings death and gives life and makes salvation grow? Faithful you to revive the dead. Blessed are you, Lord, who revives the dead. Now, we're going to go back here. And it says, begins with the first three Mishnah defining the time after which one must mention rain in the second benediction, the Shemoni Esrei or Amidah. Okay, so here is Tani. Okay, so here you see Tani, and here's your table of contents, your introduction, and you always want to read the introduction that they have in the Mishnah, whether you use an art scroll or whatever. There should be an introduction. And so who causes the wind to blow and the rain to fall in the natural season? He said to him, if so, one should always mention them. Okay. All right. But we're going to look at this one here. They do not request the rains, save close to the rains. Rabbi Yehuda says, he who passes before the ark on the last sanctified day of the festival. Okay. Now this isn't the holy ark. This is the ark holding the Torah scrolls. The last one makes mention. The first one does not make mention. On the first sanctified day of Pesach, the first one makes mention, and the last one does not make mention. Until when do we request the rains? Okay, so you start with the first day of Pesach that you have switched. When do we request the rains? Rabbi Yehuda says until Pesach concludes. Okay, Rabbi Meir says until Nisan concludes, as it is written, and he causes the rain come down for you, and the former rain and the latter rain at the first. Okay, you see Joel 2:23 there. Now I want to show you this. Okay, this is kind of important. All right, we're going to go to the commentary. All right, let's see. Um, okay, 2:23. The former rain and the latter rain at the first. And that's the rain close to the rains. And let's see. At the first, okay? And you see that they use the word month, okay? Now, I want to show you here. This is a New King James. And here is the passage. You see verse 23, be glad then, you children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given you the former rain faithfully. He will cause the rain to come down for you, the former rain and the latter rain in the first. And you see the word month is in italics. Okay. All right. That means it's not in the Hebrew. And you can see it's not in the Hebrew. However, we see that in that they understood it as meaning month, where the translator was right in this. But why is this so important? Well, the former rains come in the fall. Okay, so they start during the month of Tishrei. You hope right after Sukkot. That's when you start asking for them, and that the rains would fall. All right, and then you want the rains to stop right at Passover. Okay, because you're going into the dry season. You need to have these seasons, but we have Tishri, Passover's in Nisan, and they're both called a first month. Whoa, we just proved there are multiple calendars. How did we do it? Well, not only did we have the text here in the Tanakh, we showed how they interpreted back then. Invaluable, absolutely invaluable. All right, let's go back to our text. And let me see, I've got another one here. All right. Okay. All right. It is during the eighth benediction that the prayer for rain is added. The next three Mishnot explain that if the rains have not arrived by certain dates, the nation will start fasting for rain. Okay. These fasts are divided in two successive fasts for 3 days each, and a final fast of 7 days. Okay, so if you reach a certain point, like if you come and you're in Tishri, you pass the code, and you're going into Heshvan, and the rains haven't started, then it calls for fast. Okay, but these are public fasts. Okay, and they're 3 days each, and then they're going to have two successive 3-day fasts, and then they'll have a 7-day fast. All right. So the Mishnah discusses the distinction between these various days with regard to strictness in fasting. The last Mishnah of the chapter concerns the nature of the national mourning in case of no raining, despite many days of fasting. Chapter 2. The first mission of this chapter expounds upon the ceremonies which must be observed in fasting. In regard to these ceremonies, the next 4 Mishnah delve into the various prayers that are said, as well as the blowing of the shofar, how it's performed with the fast. The 6th and 7th Mishnah regard the participation of the priest in the fast of 3 days, and that is 7 days. You realize what we're talking about is a temple ceremony that I have never heard anyone speak on. Okay, so we're going to look at 2:1, and we're going to see what it says. All right. The order of fast. How so? They take out the ark into the open place of the town. Okay, now this is not the holy ark again, it's the Aron that you keep the Torah scrolls, and place wood ashes on the ark on the head of the Nasi. Okay, and on the head of the chief of the court. Okay, so the Nasi is the president of the Sanhedrin, and the Av Beit Din is the vice president. He's the head of the court. And each person places on his head ashes. The eldest among them say words of admonition called divrei kibbushin before them. And here's what they say: our brothers is not said of the men of Nineveh. It is not said of the men of Nineveh, and God saw their sackcloth and their fash, but rather, and God saw their works, that they turned from the evil way. Jonah 3:10. And in the Kabbalah, he says, and rend your hearts and not your garments. Joel 2:13. And remember Joel 2:23. Whoa, you're starting to get some insights into that chapter. And again, you got this invaluable aid of all this commentary to explain. Okay, so Tanit 2:2. They stood to pray. They sent down before the ark a person mature and experienced. And he has sons, and his house is empty. In other words, his sons have grown up and left the house to have their own house, so that his heart will be perfect in the prayer. And he says before them 24 blessings. 18 is on every day. Oh, that's Amidah. And he adds to them 6 more. And the blessings, let's read the commentary on this. It says, they stood to pray after the admonitionary words by the elder. They would rise to pray in the same place, and they would send down before the ark a reader, a person mature and experienced in the order of the prayer, and he has sons whom he must support, and his house is empty. He has nothing with which to support them, according to another interpretation in the Gemara, and his house is empty of sins. So his heart will be perfect in the prayer. His prayer will be heartfelt, based on true humility and a broken heart. And he says before them 24 blessings, 18 on us every day, and he adds to them 6 more blessings between the Redeemer of Israel and heal us, as will be explained in detail below. Whoa. So 2:3. I got to read 2:3. And these are Zikronot and Shofarot. Whoa. I know those words. Those are from the Rosh Hashanah liturgy. Okay? And we have 3 parts of the Rosh Hashanah's liturgy. We have Machuyot, Zikronot, and Shofarot. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. I lift up my eyes to the mountains. Out of the depths have I called you, O Lord. A prayer of the afflicted when he faints. Rabbi Yehuda says. He did not have to say Zikronot and Shofarot, but he says in their stead, if there be in the land famine, if there be plague. The word of the Lord that came to Yirmiyahu concerning the droughts, and he says their conclusion. I want to read this last phrase. I want to see what he says. Let's start down right here. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda says he did not have to say Zikronot and Shofarot. On the fast days, they do not say Zikronot and Shofarot, but he says in their stead, if there be in the land famine, if there be plague. 1 Kings 8:37 and following. Oh, I could go there and read. This is instead of Zikronot, the word of the Lord that came to Yirmiyahu concerning the droughts. Jeremiah 14. This is instead of Shofarot, and he says their conclusions. After each blessing, he recites its conclusion. It's listed below. According to Tiferet Israel, this last clause follows the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. In other words, in any event, he recites conclusions of Zikronot and Shofarot, for he concludes the verses from 1 Kings with the blessing of Zikronot, and he concludes the verses from Jeremiah with the blessing of Shofarot. I got to read 2:4. Okay. For the first he says, he who answered Abraham on Mount Moriah, he will answer you, and he will heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, O Lord, Redeemer of Israel. That's where he starts. For the second he says, he who answers our forefathers at the Red Sea, he will answer you, and he will heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, O Lord, who remembers forgotten things. For the third he says, he who answered Yehoshua, Joshua in Gilgal, he will answer you, and he will heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, O Lord, who hears the blowing of the shofar. For the fourth he says, he who answers Samuel in Mizpah, he will answer you, and he'll heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, O Lord, who hears crying. For the fifth he says, He who answered Eliyahu on Mount Carmel, he will answer you, and he will heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, Lord, who hears prayer. For the sixth, he says, he who answered Yonah from the belly of the fish, he will answer you, and he'll heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, O Lord, who answers in time of distress. For the seventh, he says, remember, he has 7 fasts, he does, 7 days. For the seventh, he says, he who answered David and Shlomo, his son, in Jerusalem, he will answer you, and heed the sound of your crying this day. Blessed are you, Lord, O Lord, who has mercy on the Lord. And if you look over here in the commentary, it goes through and it gives you the addresses. Okay. It'll tell you where it's coming from. Here's 1 Samuel 7:9. In the fourth conclusion with which he concludes, Psalm 120. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. Okay, 1 Samuel 7:9, Psalm 121, Psalm 1 Kings 18:37, Jonah 2:3, Psalm 130. Okay, 2 Samuel 21, 1 through 14, 1 Kings 8:35. I mean, it goes Psalm 102. Look at all this that you have that you're able to look at. And I'll tell you what, for me, it teaches me how to pray. You know, a lot of times I pray and I'm just saying the words, but sometimes I really know I've got to connect with God, and I've got to cry out. I got to be heard by God. I mean, I know we're always heard by God, but I got to feel that I've connected with Him. Okay, and this inspires me. This gives me something that I can build on and that I can apply. Not only when there's no rain, okay, when we have a drought, we have droughts here, okay? It's not only when we have too much rain, but when there's all kinds of problems, when you have problems with your children, you have problems with your neighbors, or you have problems in your job, these same principles you can take and you can apply, okay? All right. Let me see here. Have we gotten through all of... Oh, wait. I got another one here. All right. This is 2:5. And what's happened during the time? Rabbi Halafta and Rabbi Hananiah ben Tradon, that one passed before the ark and concluded the entire blessing. And they did not respond after him. Amen. Blow, the priest blow. He who answered our father Abraham on Mount Moriah, he will answer you and heed the sound of your cry. Yeah, sound of your cry. Of your crying this day. Sound the alarm, sons of Aaron, sound the alarm. He who answered our forefathers at the Red Sea, he will answer you and heard the sound of your crying this day. And when the matter came before the sages, they said, we did not have thusly, save at the eastern gate and on the Temple Mount. Whoa, the eastern gate. Now, here it doesn't say the eastern gate of the outer wall or the eastern gate of the court of the women. When it says the eastern gate, it's talking about the Sha'ar Nicanor, the Nicanor gate, which is the eastern gate to the inner courtyard. And right now, we are searching for everything we can find on the eastern gate. And all of a sudden, as I was working on this today, I saw that and said, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Okay. All right. Let me turn the page here. And we have 2:7. Now, this, I'll tell you what, let's go back and I'm going to read the thing. Okay, so I want to read the introduction that we have, the chapter by chapter listing that we have in our Mishnah book. The first mission of this chapter expounds upon the ceremonies chapter 2, which must be observed in fasting. In regard to these ceremonies, the next four Mishnot delve into the various prayers that are said, as well as the blowing of the shofar, how it's performed with the fast. The sixth and seventh Mishnot regard the participation of the priest in the fast of 3 days and in that of 7 days. The last two Mishnot concerning the prohibition of fasting on certain days of the year, according to Megillat Ta'anit. This scroll, Megillat Ta'anit, is a record of all the days within the Second Temple period when miracles were performed for Israel. The scroll of the fast, basically. These days were considered holidays, and fasting was prohibited. So, chapter 3. All right. I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to go. Agaramas wrote on a book on the Mishmorot, the different courses or divisions of the priest, okay, and the Levites. And so they were divided in 24 groups. And so if you're in the first division, first course, or first Mishmor, then you serve the first week of the year, starting in Nisan. If you were in the second course, you served the second week, and so forth. Now, there was a corresponding, you have Israel is divided into Kohanim, Leviim, and Israelis, okay? And so you have a group will come of the Kohanim, a group will come of the Leviim, and there are 24 districts of Israel. And so each district will send a group, and that's called the Ma'amad. Now, there is a Ma'amad that will go on duty at the temple. They'll stand representing their district at the time that the incense is burned. They're praying the Amidah, and they're called the standing men. Okay, and so, but back at home, there are members of the Ma'amad that didn't go. They are going to be praying every day at the same time right there in their community. Okay, and so next week there'll be a different bunch. Okay, all right. So here in the Mishnah, it tells us about them, and it's a tremendous thing. All right, so all right. So chapter 2, Mishnah 7, it says members of the guard. Okay, so the word right here is Mishmor, okay? That's the guard. And so the Mishmorot are permitted to drink wine at night, but not during the day. And members of the father's house, not during the day and not at night. The members of the guard and members of the Ma'amad, okay? So here is the Mishmor here. That's going to be the Leviim, members of the guard, and members of the Ma'amad. Okay, so here, the Ma'amad, wait, right up here, second line, are prohibited from cutting and from washing. They can't shave, they can't cut their hair. And on the fifth, they are permitted because of the honor of the Shabbat. Now, there's a whole section here. Yeah, see here, chapter 2, Mishnah 6 is talking about the Ma'amad. And here, okay, let's go forward. 2:7, members of the guard, okay, again, Mishmor, are permitted to drink wine. Oh, wait, we already read that one, all right? All right, let's go back to our slides. I'm going to try to finish out on Ta'anit. We won't get to Hagigah today. All right, let's go to the next slide. Chapter 3. This chapter begins with cases where the order of fasting may be changed. The blowing of the shofar may be blown at the beginning of the fast. Mishnah 4 through 7 deal with other occasions in which a fast is held and the shofar is blown, as when a plague breaks out in a city and when an army invades. Okay, so to give you information on that. The 8th Mishnah of chapter 3. I'm going to turn to that. This is about Honi, the rainmaker, Honi the circle maker, okay? He is a legend and a half. He prayed for rain. All right. The 8th Mishnah is particularly, all right. Wait, let's go ahead and read what it says here that kind of summarizes it. All right, the 8th Mishnah is particularly interesting. It tells of Honi mi Agel, who prayed for rain after placing himself inside a circle he drew on the ground. Then rains came in such abundance that Honi had to pray for the rains to cease. The chapter closes with cases in which fasting ceases when rain begins to fall. Okay, so we want to read the Mishnah. I cannot emphasize how important it is that when you read about a Mishnah, you need to go back and find that text and read it for yourself. All right. 3:8. For any trouble which should occur to the public, they sound for it, meaning with the shofar, except for an excess of rain. And what's happened that they said to Honi ha mi Agel, pray that rains may fall. He said to them, go out and bring in the ovens of the Passover offerings so that they will not become soft. He prayed and rains did not fall. What did he do? He drew a circle and stood within it and said before him, Master of the universe, your children have turned their faces to me. For I am like a son of the house before you. I swear by your great name that I will not move from here until you have mercy upon your children. The rains began in a drizzle. He said, not thus I asked, but rains of pits, cavities, and caves. They began to fall in a tempest. He said, not thus I asked, but acceptable, blessed, and generous rains. And they fell in their proper manner until Israel went forth from Jerusalem to the Temple Mount because of the rains. They came and said to him, just as you prayed for them that they would fall, so pray that they should cease. He said to them, go out and see if even Hatoim has been washed away. Now, I don't know what Hatoim is. Is a large boulder in Jerusalem. The finder of a lost object would stand on it and announce, I found a lost object, and its owner would come, provide identifying marks, and take possession. The rock was named Evan Hatoim, is the rock of those wanderings. For those who were wandering and searching for their lost objects would assemble at this rock. According to another version, its name was Evan Hatoim, the rock of the claimer. And then it goes on, but it gives you a full explanation. And it says, Shimon ben Shittak sent to him, if you were not Honi. Okay, Shimon ben Shittak is going to be before the time of Yeshua. If you were not Honi, I would decree rationalization upon you. But what shall I do to you? That you indulge yourself before the omnipresent, and he does your will, is a son who indulges himself before his father, and he does his will. And about you, the scripture says, let your father and your mother be glad, and let her that bore you rejoice. Proverbs 23:25. I love this stuff. Okay, y'all? This is just tremendous. All right. Let's see how many more. I got to kind of hurry. I'm running low on time. All right. Chapter 4. The last chapter of Tani covers many topics besides fasting for rain. The first Mishnah addresses the days on which the priests raise their hands 4 times to bless the people. Mishnah 2 through 4 concern the Mamadot, representatives. King David had divided the priests, Levites, and men of Israel into 24 divisions. Okay, let's take a look at this. This is the last one in Tani.
Let me make sure. Oh, each division of the priests and Levites would serve 1 week in the first part of the year and 1 week in the second on a rotation basis. Each of the 24 divisions sent a deputation to Jerusalem each week to represent their division or territory. They would stand in the Ezrat Israel, the court of Israel, within the Azarah, the inner courtyard, and pray the appropriate service while conducted by the priests, and the Levites sang the appropriate psalms. These Mishnot describe how the Moed would fast on certain days while performing their obligation and representing their divisions. Also covered is the scriptures they read at these times. The fifth Mishnah speaks of the wood offering mentioned in Nehemiah 10:34, given the regulations on how it was brought, by whom, and when. The next two Mishnah concern the fast of the 17th of Tammuz and the 9th of Av. Also listed in these Mishnah are the 5 sad events which befell the Jewish people on each of these days. All right. The last Mishnah Tani concerns the festivities which mark Yom Kippur and the 15th of Av. 15th of Av, you need to know about, which in ancient Jerusalem was the most important day of the wood offering. On these 2 days, the maidens of Jerusalem dressed in white and danced in the vineyards. These young women called upon the young men to seek worthy brides for themselves. All right, so then we go to Haggai. I'm going to stop here. Next week, we will go through this last chapter, chapter 4, because there's too much in there. I don't want to do it fast. I want to bring out about the Moed and everything that we can see there. But here, I tell the big difference here. Non-Jews read and they want the big picture, okay? And the big picture isn't the accurate picture. The big picture, you need to be able to see the detail. Now, Jews will see it much, much better, but there's a blind area there among a lot of Jewish readers because they have it related to the temple. Well, that's changing now. The temple is coming to the forefront. And so all of this, as you can see, we're going through. When we were in Zeraim, man, it was every tractate. There were chapters and chapters and chapters on things that were done in the temple, but it applied to how we, coming into Seder Moed, every tractate is going to have about all of these things. This is what they prayed. This is what they sang. This is the action they did. This is why they did it. This is how you understand this verse. Okay, and that changes what you're seeing as you go through. And so, it's like you go, I get absolutely just excited as I read, and I can start to see it and see it and see it. I go to bed, I'm thinking of it when I'm sleeping. I'm driving down the road. I haven't played the radio in my car at all. It doesn't ever come on because that's a time that I can think and I can relive all of these things that are in there. And it comes alive, and that is what you want. Okay, if you remember Jerusalem Temple Study, I would encourage you to go and download our book. It's called The Concise Guide to the Mishnah and the Tosafta by me and Debbie. And download it. I would print it out. I would use it like I'm using it here. You read about what's in the chapter, but then you go through and you have to read the Mishnah. You go through and look at the commentary. Don't worry about what you don't understand. Just you're going to start building and you will understand more and more as you go on. Okay, please pray for the people that we mentioned. Please subscribe to YouTube. If you're interested in the models, you can go to JerusalemTempleStudy.com and they're there. Shalom, everyone. May you have a good and blessed week. Shalom, shalom.